Tensions are soaring in the Baltic Sea as we just got some new details on that dramatic dogfight between NATO and Russian forces. What's really going on here, and why is Putin risking all-out war? Remember last week, we told you how a Russian warship had been prowling around critical undersea internet cables between Sweden and Poland, sparking fears of sabotage. It seems a Russian fighter jet has entered Swedish airspace over the Baltic Sea, prompting a quick response from Polish F-16 fighter jets. Polish officials say they were forced to intercept the Russian plane to ensure the safety of their airspace. But the Russian pilot was apparently conducting dangerous aerial maneuvers, including barrel rolls, simulating attack runs on Swedish territory. The Polish defense minister revealed that similar events have been happening regularly for weeks. The Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania have been NATO members since 2004, while Sweden and Finland have long been associated partners, even though they weren't technically members. These countries have historically maintained neutrality to keep the peace, but Putin's invasion of Ukraine changed everything. In a historic move, both Sweden and Finland applied to join NATO in May, marking a clear response to Russia's aggression. And Finland officially joined the alliance in April, making the Baltic Sea a much hotter tinderbox. But why is Putin suddenly ramping up the air battles now? Some experts believe he's testing the waters, probing for weaknesses in NATO's defenses. By pushing close to the edge, Putin can gauge how the alliance would respond in a real crisis. It's a form of deterrence, showing NATO that any move against Russia could trigger a devastating response. Others argue that Putin is simply posturing, trying to intimidate NATO and deter them from supporting Ukraine. By flexing Russia's military might, Putin hopes to convince the alliance that defending Eastern Europe isn't worth the cost. In his mind, inciting fear and uncertainty will weaken resolve and eventually lead to a negotiated settlement that favors Russia. Then there's the possibility that these incidents are merely the result of miscommunication or a breakdown in air traffic control. In a high-stress environment like the Baltic Sea, mistakes can happen. We're dealing with some very sensitive geopolitical issues here. Every close call between NATO and Russia brings us closer to a catastrophic mistake. It only takes one miscalculation or one trigger-happy pilot to ignite a full-blown conflict. And when you consider the nuclear capabilities of both sides, the stakes couldn't be higher. The world is watching these developments closely because they could serve as a prelude to something much bigger. If Putin becomes desperate, he could escalate the conflict intentionally. Imagine if a Russian SU-24 went down inside NATO airspace, blaming it on NATO forces. That could be the spark that ignites the tinderbox. Suddenly, NATO's air defenses would be forced to engage, potentially leading to a large-scale engagement. Putin could then use this as justification to mobilize additional forces and escalate the conflict. That's why both sides must maintain calm and professionalism. Clear communication channels must be established to prevent misunderstandings. And all parties must exercise restraint to avoid triggering a catastrophic response. The world can ill afford another devastating conflict. What do you think about Russia's strategy? Are they looking for a fight or just trying to send a message? Share your thoughts in the comments below.